changes, what changes over time. And just so you know, this is what we call the non-expanded group, right? And if they go down, it means you're losing some brain neurons. Well, yeah, we all lose brain neurons every year. You know, that's normal. It's just like you can't run the 50-yard dash at the same speed you ran when you were 18. Although, if you can, raise your hand because that's way cool. But I'm a little slower. If I can even make it 50 yards, right? So, yes, and it looks like on this caudate measure that the far from onset are really at the same rate as their siblings who don't even have the expansion. It isn't until you get closer to that motor diagnosis that all of these fall a little bit faster. But then we thought, well, let's look at those other brain areas. And it turned out that there is other measures that do start to fall earlier. So again, it opened up a whole new area for scientists to look at. So if we go earlier, so for these guys, we want to rescue the caudate in mid-near diagnosed. But maybe if we're going to rescue white matter, we should go further out, 20 years out. So you see, it opens up all these new possibilities. And that's because you were willing to volunteer your time. These are the coming soon to a theater near you. These are the new gorgeous things they're going to do. They're actually going to try to track what's connected to what. So they'll take something here, and how many people have heard me do that talk of the little circuits and how they communicate through the brain? A few of you have. Well, they're going to actually try to measure those tracks, the way the information it goes to the brain. So they're going to do these tractography, where they literally measure these tracks. How the information gets from here to here, and this is their first try at it. So this year when you come in, they're also going to collect data on whether they can measure how the tracks are working, because then we might even get more information about which exact track is the most sensitive early in the disease. So that's the thing they're working on this year. And the other thing they're working on is, this is a shape analysis. So they're taking out that part in the middle that just looks like a little almond, right? They take out the whole structure and it actually looks like this down here, and they're doing what's called a shape analysis. And that's where they color it when it goes thinner in a certain area. They make different colors, and the pilot data already looks beautiful. That they have all these, and you should, scientists can be really geeky. I know it's a surprise, but you should have heard these guys. And these are guys that came to us. These are Johns Hopkins top imagers. They came to us. They want to do this work, and they're all excited. Wow, look at this. It goes more on the side right here than on this side. You know, the HD people went, yeah, of course, they looked at this for like, oh, I'm pretty much done with it right now, but they were pretty much looking at this for like 2 hours. So let me know if you want to look at it again later. But they're very excited that they can do that. I do want to share with you that we are really focusing on this issue of making better ratings so we can better understand how people are feeling. And I think it's something that we'll continue to do. There are some sites that are going to set up extra studies and ask for you to come in even an extra day because there's so much work to do. CHDI has started a new initiative, and they call it the FIRST initiative, and you should ask about it because it is really to put some good resources and energy and develop excellent rating scales for us to use. And the main thing we've learned about behaviors, as you shared with us, is that these are very important measures for Huntington's disease. And this morning, earlier today, I did the juvenile HD talk, and it turns out there are very important measures there too. They can be the most subtle and early measures, but they're hard to measure, isn't it? And that's what people always say to me. Well, I can't tell if she's just being cranky because I've seen her like that her whole life, or if this is new. And that's true. I mean, my kids, no, they don't say that about me. That's what I was going to say. But it is true. We all have those days, and you just don't know. So I think it's tricky to measure. So we're really working on it. And we really need people who are willing to think about these things and help us with this initiative. And it's really going to be a focus this year is to make really good scales. Now, all of our data shows that this is there so far back, we haven't even found how it gets worse. It is there in our FAR group, that they have more of all those behaviors, but we don't have a handle on it beyond that. So it is a place we're going to put some energy. So let us know if you're willing to help us with that initiative. You can't have a study if you're not going to tell the FDA, who approves the treatments, how you're measuring it. You can't just say, no, I just feel like it's working. No, I just feel better. You know, they're not going to take that. They're going to want to see the data. So we have to have a measure. Well, right now we don't have a good measure. We don't want to wait till people get motor diagnosed. I mean, come on, we've been doing this study for how many years? We're in year 8 or 9, and yeah, I mean, and we only have 100 out of well over 1,000, so we're not going to do a study that long. So we need better measures of how we're going to see if this is working. So we looked at the measure they use in all the other clinical trials that are in diagnosed people. It's called the TFC, Total Functional Capacity Scale, and it measures your ability to walk independently, to eat independently, to take care of your finances independently, to live at home, and what's the last one? Work in your regular job. And no surprise, but basically everyone in PREDICT maxed out on it. You all do all that fine, so this measure is no good. So you don't need to read all this deep details for me. Basically, the average score was 12.8 out of 13. You rock. And 24.8 out of 25. So obviously it's not a very good measure. So we need some new measures. So that is what the functional group that Janet Williams stood up for is. She is working on developing some new measures. And there was a flyer in your bag that said we need people. I know it's a very demanding request, but we said we need people to volunteer for a study where we're really going to contact. It's for people that were diagnosed already, though. We want permission to go back and contact employers to see what did they notice. What did you notice? The other thought was, one was work. Really focus on work functioning, because that's probably one of the higher things you do. The other thing is your close relationships. Because when you're not feeling well, do you let the public know? Do I come and tell you when I'm not feeling well? Well, sometimes I do, but let's not use me as an example. Most healthy, normal people don't tell just anyone in the street. They would let their spouse know, right? The people closest to you. They're the ones that get your irritability. They're the ones that really know how you're feeling. So that's probably where we need to take these outcomes, the clinical endpoints. They want to know how you're really doing, but that means we need to develop some new measures. So this is another big area for focus this year. It looked like so far in this sample, which most people were doing great, the only area was that the first thing that was endorsed is that people aren't working in their regular job. Most people were still working, but some people had switched to not their regular job. So that's something we're wondering about, and we're really open to your ideas.